Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. Have you guys ever had one of those moments? StreamYard is like your studio is like a recording device. So anytime you do a stream, if there's memory, it will record the stream, but unfortunately, I didn't realize until I was about to start the stream that I didn't clean out the memory. So the only record of this stream is going to be on YouTube for now. So anyway, happy Tuesday. Today is February 21st, 2023. I wanted to get a Michigan football stream in here before too much time passed. I've done some basketball related stuff. That's not why I'm wearing this headband. I actually misplaced my hat. My hat is, well, I think I know where it is, but it's not here. And fortunately, this old Michigan headband was laying around in one of my bins, and I guess it's appropriate to wear in honor of March Madness. And tonight, it's going to take the place of my trusty Michigan hat, my winter cap. So let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube. I see 3 people in here now. After that, I will play the intro, and then we will get this party started. I wasn't going to read for you guys initially, but these are 3 short pieces. I have a lot of pieces here, and I'm just going to go through. I actually listed out all of the articles that I have. I'm not going to read all of these. You guys don't have the patience. I don't have the time or the patience, and I have to go into the office tomorrow, and it's getting late as it is. So I'm just gonna highlight 3 and go over the other titles because I think the titles are self-explanatory. Let me see who's here. Is it our resident super fan? Oh, it's really Kris. Hey, Kris, how you doing? Always good to see you. I thought you were Abdul. Thank you, Kris, for all your continued support. All right, everyone. I'm gonna play the intro, and then I'm going to jump in, and then I'm going to jump out. The rest of you who are here, please let me know who is there watching. This is going to be a brief summation and a catch up on the latest Michigan football news. And thank you to everyone who watched my basketball stuff. I just uploaded a short on that dreadful NBA All-Star game. And before that, we did a stream on who the GOAT is. Is it Michael Jordan? Is it LeBron? Is it Kobe? Kareem? Thank you to everyone who supported that stream. If you haven't, please go check it out. Things got a little bit testy and a little bit fiery, as typically happens when you're discussing the GOAT. But tonight, we're going to talk about some Michigan football. Treppa Coles is here. Treppa, thank you for stopping through, as always. All right, I'm going to play the intro, and then I will start. Let me make sure I could see myself on YouTube. Yep, there is the ad. There's the guy making coffee. And there's me. Okay. I will see you on the other side of the intro. All right. I saw the number go down and the number come back up. So whoever is watching, please shout yourselves out there in the chat. These are a lot more fun when I'm interacting with you guys versus me just talking at you guys. Okay, everyone, as I said, this is just going to be a brief update and summation of the latest Michigan football news ever since that heartbreaking loss to TCU in the Fiesta Bowl. Uh, I haven't had the will to do anything, and there's been a lot of news too, a lot of things happening, a lot of movement, coaches moving, players entering the transfer portal. Of course, we went through a second year of Coach Harbaugh dipping his toe into the NFL waters. So there's been a lot going on. I spent part of my day, I'm sorry, I spent part of my day tallying up all of the articles that have come to my smartphone in the last month and a half. And this is what I put together here. Yeah, and so that's everything from JJ predicting that the Wolverines will be back in the playoff to where Michigan is currently ranked for next season to Blake announcing he's coming back, everything. So I'm going to start again. I'm going to just read three of these. These are short, and I'm going to highlight the rest of these titles, and then I'll wrap the stream up. Unless I told Michael Burden that I was doing this. He likes to come up. I told Alex that I was doing this, but Alex is a coach, so he might not be here tonight. But I just wanted to do something on our Maize and Blue. So I'm going to start with that first one. We last saw our heroes in that heartbreaking loss to the TCU Horned Frogs. So let's see what JJ had to say after that loss to the Horned Frogs out in Phoenix. This one is entitled, and there's JJ. I've used this image or some variation of this image uh, for some of my thumbnails, but there's JJ watching TCU celebrate after their 6-point victory over our beloved Maize and Blue. And of course, TCU got boat raced. I think Joel Klatt said that TCU got whooped the next week against Georgia. I think we would have given Georgia much more of a fight, but you call a Philly special here and you fumble at the goal line there, and you don't unleash your phenom quarterback on the ground until the second half, and this is what we have. But JJ McCarthy makes a promise: we'll be back. This was written by Trevor Woods on December 31st, 2022. So this is old news. JJ McCarthy's been at Michigan for 2 seasons now, and he's seen confetti fall and the opposing team celebrate twice in the college football playoff semifinals. It was Georgia who beat Michigan at the Orange Bowl, and on Saturday night, it was TCU who prevailed at the Fiesta Bowl. Man, that game was painful to watch. That was that was painful. Oh, Mike's here. Mike, when I get done, if you're still hanging out, I'll drop the link because Mike, you turned me on to the Jesse Minter news. So everyone, we're going to get to that. So Mike, thank you for stopping through. Everyone, please hit that like button. Okay. Painful game to watch. But we were right there at the end, and we could have won the game. McCarthy, who threw for 343 yards and 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 52 yards, and 1 rushing score, made a statement following the game about what he envisions next for the program. Fought our hearts out, McCarthy said, there's a lot of things that we could have done better. Can't wait to watch the tape, but we'll be back, and I promise that. Here's a tweet on it from Gina Trotman. The wounds are fresh, but the road back to the college football playoff has already begun. Michigan players will get back to strength. training in a matter of weeks. Spring practices will begin in late February. The 2023 season starts sooner than the game schedule. What McCarthy and the team do in the immediate future has a direct impact on how far they go in the postseason. McCarthy said in the past that whether the outcome of the game is positive or negative, it's important to learn from it and then throw it in the ocean and move forward. Onward is the only direction for Michigan and the young quarterback. This loss will stick with McCarthy and the rest of the team for quite some time. It'll be up to them to use it as fuel or let it define them. For McCarthy's post-game comments, it's decisive what direction he is going, back to the playoffs, to a national championship. In my post, Fiesta Bowl content, I stated that I think that's cool, that he, in terms of leadership and in terms of belief, I think it's cool that he's predicting that. I think there are two things there. Well, actually three. Who was it? It wasn't Joel Klatt. It was someone else. It wasn't Mark Rogers. Maybe it was Steve Dace who predicted or who noted that every 3 years Alabama reloads and wins. So we are coming up on the third year. So Alabama missed the playoff altogether this year. So in terms of forecasting the weather, look for Alabama to be back in the hunt for the college football playoff. They were in the hunt this year, but they lost a couple of nail biters that kept them out. But everyone beware of the Crimson Tide. So there's that. Has the coaching staff learned its lesson from what happened? Will they be ready? If they make it back to the playoff, will they be able to prepare the team for a big game like this and call a good game? And then finally, the one no one can control is health. There's a lot coming back. There are a lot of predictions about what the team's going to do. But can the team stay healthy? I think that's going to have a lot of impact on what happens going forward into next season. The schedule is going to shake out. I mean, the schedule is pretty, it looks like it's laid out for them to make another run back to the playoff. But let's see. They got to stay healthy. That's the most important thing. Everyone, I keep forgetting about the branding. In my GOAT stream, I forgot the branding. And branding is important because when you are a YouTuber, you are in business. Everyone, this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. This is my sports channel. I have 3 other channels. Let's see. The super chat is live. If anyone wants to super chat anything, if you want to make a donation by Cash App or PayPal, I don't have a big crowd tonight, so no worries if you don't. But this is just part of the standard operating procedure. And if you're watching on the playback, you can leave a super thanks if you see fit. Okay. So now that that's out of the way, I have some other articles that I'm not going to read, but I just listed these out. I'm going to go through these briefly, and then I'm going to end with 2 more. Michael, if you're still there, let me know what you think in the chat. Let's see. So I just read that one. See, everyone, I'm a man of my word. I listed all these out. I compiled all of them from my Gmail account. Okay, so JJ McCarthy makes a promise. We'll be back. Okay, just read that one. At that time, I don't know which date. That was probably in January or early February. Michigan, at that point, was ranked number 5 nationally in terms of returning production. So that prediction was made based upon the players coming back, and as I'll describe some have entered the transfer portal, such as defensive lineman Taylor Upshaw. So he's not coming back, it seems. I don't know where he landed. Oh, we also lost Andrew Anthony. So Andrew Anthony, he was predicted to have a breakout year this year, and actually Ronald Bellamy, who was a pretty good wide receiver himself when he played under Lloyd Carr, Ronald Bellamy fell under a lot of scrutiny this year based upon the lack of production from the wide receiver position. There were a lot of questions and concerns about why our wide receivers weren't getting separation against the defensive backs that were matching up against them. And I think our leading receivers ended up being Roman Wilson and Ronnie Bell. And maybe Andrell felt like he wasn't given the opportunities. Maybe he felt like he wanted to be the featured guy with Ronnie graduating. I mean, certainly Andrew Anthony would have been one of the next receivers up in terms of balls thrown his way. But he has entered he entered the transfer portal. I watched his Twitter. He was getting a lot of offers, and he landed in Oklahoma. So, but Andrew Anthony, he did have his share of balls thrown his way this season. And I'm thinking about the deep ball. I think it was against Illinois. He was in the end zone. All he had to do was secure it, and it went through his arms. And that was an incompletion instead of a touchdown. But he had his opportunities, but something happened, and he wasn't happy in Ann Arbor, and he left. So Antoine says, "Hey, bro." Antoine says Anthony didn't know how to run routes. Okay. And Antoine says, I blame that on Bellamy. Yeah, you would have thought after that crossing route, Cade McNamara hit him on against Michigan State last year. I was looking for great things to happen with Andrew. And then, yeah, JJ hit him in the end zone when JJ got in the game against Michigan State last year. But, sometimes things just don't work out. But also, maybe Ronald Bellamy didn't develop the kid and the other wide receivers in the best possible way. So anyway, so Andrew Anthony's gone and Taylor Upshaw's gone. As you can see here, Blake Corum decided to come back after hurting his knee and missing the Ohio State game, the Big Ten championship game, and the Fiesta Bowl. So he came back. I think that's huge. Once again, I think health is going to be a big determinant this year in terms of whether or not our beloved Maize and Blue goes back to Indianapolis and then back to the playoff. Cornelius Johnson decided to come back for his final year. I think that's huge. So Cornelius and Roman Wilson, you can predict that they're going to be the leaders at the wide receiver position and in the wide receiver core. So I think it's huge that Cornelius is coming back. He's made play. Well, you could argue that Cornelius helped tank Joe Milton's career in Michigan, but since that fumble or that drop pass at Rutgers that Joe Milton threw to him, Cornelius has made plays, and of course he made those 2 hero plays for us against the Buckeyes in Columbus. So he decided to come back. Treppa Cole says Michigan spent $2.24 million in 2023 recruiting more than anyone else in the Big Ten, but only had the 3rd ranked class in the Big Ten. Okay. Thank you for that, Treppa. Hold on. When you live in a condo complex, you never know when someone's alarm is going to go off. Antoine says, I like Ronald Bellamy as a person, but the receivers and that route is not on par. Michigan needs to expand the route tree and get these receivers more polished. To be truthful, I'll be glad when Bellamy goes. Wow. Okay. Sheed is here. Sheed, thank you for stopping through. Everyone, please hit that like button if you haven't. You know, Antoine, that's surprising. That's always surprising when you see a player have some success at their position as a player, because Ronald Bellamy had some success at Michigan, and then I believe Ronald was drafted by the Detroit Lions, and he played briefly in the NFL. And so it's always surprising when a player who's had success can't teach that success to younger players. And that's been one of the criticisms of Jimbo as well. But I digress. So Cornelius is coming back. Kris Jenkins is coming back for quote unquote unfinished business. Of course, there was the whole Matt Weiss thing. Matt Weiss is gone. That article was entitled Weiss Suspended as Michigan Police Probe Alleged Computer Crimes in Schembechler Hall. And then this article, I'm going to just go through this one briefly. 9 Michigan players receive NFL Combine invites. I'm going to go through this one briefly. So several Wolverines are going to get drafted in a couple of months. I wished Luke Schoonmaker was coming back, but with Colston Loveland coming on the way he did, we shouldn't really have a drop off at the tight end position. But I like Luke. He was reliable in the passing game, and he was a very, very capable blocker. There's a picture of him there. But the NFL scouts and coaches were probably salivating over him. So these are the players that are going pro and who have gotten invites to the combine. If you're just coming in, please hit that like button. I'm just catching up on the latest Michigan football news. I'm not going to be on super long tonight. Michael Burden, if you're still there, I'll drop the link so you can come up. Or Antoine, anyone, if you want to come up afterwards. So Jake Moody, Jake Moody should have a nice long career in the NFL based upon the kicks that he made for us. And we can credit Jake Moody with a lot of the victories in the 2021 season. So he should have a nice long NFL career. So Brad Robbins, our punter, Ronnie Bell. Ronnie should land somewhere. I don't know if he'll be the alpha wide receiver or the number 1 receiver on an NFL franchise, but Ronnie is a reliable target, as we saw. Luke Schoonmaker, assuming he stays healthy, he should have a nice long NFL career. Olu Olawatimi, okay. He transferred in from Virginia and he anchored our offensive line, and he had a great season up until that last play of the Fiesta Bowl. But I think our entire team got stretched and challenged in that Fiesta Bowl in ways that it hadn't been challenged all season. So he should have a nice long NFL career, assuming he stays healthy. Ryan Hayes was among the players invited. Mozzie Smith, he might have been looking to get out of town based upon some of those things he was involved in. But and I think he fell under some criticism as well late in the season in terms of the amount of pass rush that he was able to provide in Mike Morris's absence. Antoine says, word on the street is Coach Jesse Minter might be leaving for Philadelphia. Yep, I'm going to get to that. I think it will be a mistake for him to leave, but if you do go, I want another person to run that same system. Yeah, it looks like the Wolverines, our team is a bit of a farm system for NFL defensive coordinators. We had Mike McDonald come in and then go back to the pros, and then we had Jesse Minter come in from Vanderbilt, and now he's looking to go to the pros. Okay. Mozzie Smith, Mike Morris, we're going to miss Mike Morris, and then DJ Turner, he's going pro as well. So those are the 9 Wolverines who were invited to the combine. Okay. I also have, so this is referring to the updated preseason rankings. I'm going to read this one, and then I'm going to read the one on Jesse Minter. And then if you're still there, you want to come up, I'll drop the link and I'll entertain guests for just a short. But if not, I'll just wrap this up. So this one is entitled Antoine. Antoine, thank you for Trepa. Antoine, Mike, if you're still there, thank you all for hanging out in the chat and making this interactive. Trepa says, Michigan might miss Minter, but how do you pass up coaching a Super Bowl team? That's interesting. Let's see, who was the coach of that Philadelphia defense? I don't think defense is what lost them that game, that Super Bowl. I think they just offensively coming down the stretch, they couldn't move the ball as effectively as Kansas City did. But that's another topic. Please hit that like button if you're just coming in. Antoine says, thank you for that, Trepa. Antoine says, NFL coaches are not getting paid that much more anyway, and the NFL will quickly get rid of you more quickly than college. Jesse should know this. Yeah, I liked what Jesse did with the talent he had coming back. We lost Aiden Hutchinson. We lost David Ojabo. We lost Daxton Hill. And Jesse was able to take the players that came back, and he was able to coach them to a very competitive and cohesive unit. I think the entire team got, I don't want to say exposed against TCU, but I think some of that was coaching. I think a lot of that was lack of preparation, and TCU was just very hungry in that game. So I think our entire team got stretched and challenged in that game in ways that they had not been challenged before. Some of the play calling didn't help us out, but I think for most of the year, Jesse did a really good job, an exceptional job as our defensive coordinator. Antoine says Michigan should start putting under links. Michigan should start putting links under these head coaches so they can learn the system and keep the train going. Okay. So let's hear about the current preseason rankings. Because before Michigan was number 5, and now they've moved up 2 spots to number 3. But what can you tell by these preseason rankings? Health and injuries, I think that's going to be the key for our Michigan football team in 2023. This reads as follows. Everyone, this is short, I promise. There's Jimbo. I think that's them running out onto the field for the Fiesta Bowl, because I think for the Big Ten championship game, I was there, they wore their white tops and their blue pants. So I think that's the Fiesta Bowl there before all the drama unfolded. All right. According to ESPN's 2023 preseason's S&P rankings, which weigh returning production, recent recruiting, and recent history, the Wolverines are the number 3 team in the country and the number 2 team in the Big Ten. Wow, we're not even predicted to be the number 1 team in the Big Ten. How about that? That surprises me. I thought we would have been the number 1 team. Here are the top 10 in order. Okay, so Georgia, yep. Ohio State is still predicted to have more than us. How about that? So Georgia's ranked number 1, even after losing Stetson Bennett and some of those other guys. Ohio State is ranked number 2. We are ranked number 3, followed by Alabama. So they ranked us above Alabama. Penn State is number 5. Tennessee is number 6. LSU is number 7. Oregon is number 8. And Texas is number 9. USC is number 10. So that's our preseason top 10 as of now. And, well, I guess Ohio State, right now, they are judged to have more than us. So let's see. Even with CJ Stroud leaving, they're still predicted to win the Big Ten, according to these rankings. Okay. Preseason rankings do not mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but they are interesting to see where value is being placed at the top of college football. Of the top 6 teams, the Wolverines are the only one returning their starting quarterback from a season ago and return the most production of any team in the top 10. The Wolverines have not been ranked this high in the preseason S&P rankings since 2016, when they were number 6 and finished that season at number 6 in the final S&P rankings after a 10-3 season. Is Michigan ranked too low, too high? We all know Texas is too high, but what else stands out about the entire top 10? Okay. Well, I'm seeing that even with CJ Stroud leaving, Ohio State is ranked over us. That's interesting to me. So let's see. Michael Burden, I see you're still here. Thank you for still being here. I'm going to drop the link shortly. Antoine says, people like looking at stars on paper. I like looking at actual experience and production. So which is more accurate, a so-called prediction or an actual production of these players? Okay, let's talk about Jesse Minter, because we might be seeing yet another year of a defensive coordinator coaching carousel. So let's see. Okay. Give me a second here, guys. Keep commenting there in the chat. I appreciate that. So we're all keeping our eye on this. If you noticed, I haven't covered any of the Harbaugh stuff. I created a lot of content on that whole thing. So Jim agreed to stay. I think the controversy surrounding Jim staying, other than him dipping his toe in the NFL again, was the seeming frayed relationship between him and Ward Manuel. And it seems that our school president, Santa Ono, he was the main one out there really pushing for Jim to come back. And it seems like there was something going on between Ward and Jim. So there was a bit of a controversy there. Let's see. Trepa says, that's true. That's a good point, Trepa. We can't ignore how OSU played against Georgia. That game was right there for the taking for the Buckeyes. Antoine says Ohio State's starting quarterback will be questionable in terms of experience, and Ohio State's offensive line is also questionable. He says Michigan can actually roll out to starting offensive lines, and I'm not even over exaggerating. Okay, so you're talking about their depth at the offensive line position. Yep, that's good. That's good for us. And Trepa says Ohio State did lose some key offensive line players. Okay, Jesse Minter. What's Jesse Minter doing? Is he looking to capitalize on his good year just like Mike McDonald did? This is from the MLive website. Close that. Michigan defensive coordinator Jesse Minter reportedly interviews with the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. This was written by, well, it doesn't, oh, Aaron McMahon. Okay, the Philadelphia Eagles are on the hunt for a new defensive coordinator, and they have apparently shown interest in Michigan's Jesse Minter. The Wolverines defensive coordinator is one of 2 coaches to recently interview for the open vacancy, according to NFL Network's Mike Garofalo reported Tuesday morning that the Eagles are scanning both the NFL and college ranks for candidates. Philadelphia also interviewed the Los Angeles Rams defensive backs coach and passing game coordinator Chris Shula. According to Garofalo, a familiar face who was on the San Diego Chargers staff with Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni in 2015-16. Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon departed earlier this month to become the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. So he left for a head coaching job. Was it a head coaching job? Yeah, he left to become the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. This marks the second straight year in which Michigan's defensive coordinator has interviewed for an NFL job. Mike Macdonald, the architect behind the Wolverines' defensive turnaround in 2021, went on to become the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens last year. What happens this year remains to be seen. Minter, 39, presided over a Michigan defense that ranked top 10 nationally in points and yards allowed, earning him finalist honors for the prestigious Broyles Award. Minter has NFL experience, having spent 4 seasons on staff with the Baltimore Ravens, first as a defensive assistant and then as a defensive backs coach before becoming a high-level defensive coordinator in college. He's in the second of a 3-year deal at Michigan, which is set to pay him a base salary, $925,000 in 2023. He would not owe the school a buyout if he were to leave for a job in the NFL. For terms of his contract, the Wolverines kicked off spring practice Monday in Ann Arbor, where Minter was present. All right. Michael Burden, if you're still out there, or Antoine, if you want to come up for a moment, give your 2 cents. I'm dropping the link. This technically does not involve Michigan football anymore, but I recall seeing that Josh Gaddis is out as the Miami defensive coordinator. So he left Ann Arbor, if I recall correctly, a little bit disgruntled, and he had after that 1 year at the helm of the Hurricanes offense, I guess Mario Cristobal didn't want him anymore. So, but I guess he's out there. Let's see. Antoine says, if I'm Jesse, I would stay for comparable pay. The NFL is not that far ahead of college in terms of pay unless you're offering big money. And even then, I might think about it. Treppa says there's no NIL or recruiting in the NFL. Antoine says, I'm on the road driving. I would love to come on, but I can't remember. I drive for a living. Hey, Antoine, no problem. I appreciate you commenting while driving. I appreciate that. These live streams are a lot more fun for the content creator when folks are participating and interacting in the stream. So, Treppa, are you saying that? I think you're saying, yeah, that recruiting wouldn't be a concern for Jesse Minter at the pro level. And I agree with that. I think that's what you weigh when you think about coaching in the NFL versus the college, in college football. And that's that in college, you have to recruit the players. In the NFL, the front office drafts the players and they sign the free agents and they cut the players as well when they're no longer useful. So there's a bit of a difference there. Well, everyone, that's all I've got. I just wanted to get on here and do a quick just update on what's going on. It's college basketball season. The Wolverines, well, I don't know if they'll make the NCAA tournament as an at-large team. I think they're borderline, but I think they probably have to win their Big Ten tournament, or at least make it to the final game to get an at-large bid if they don't get the automatic bid. But basketball is still going on, and I just wanted to get on here and do a Michigan football stream. I think the majority of my subscriber base is our Michigan football fans. I do dibble and dabble in basketball every now and then, but until my basketball subscribership grows, hopefully it does at some point, I gotta take care of my diehards. Antoine says, yeah, recruiting can be a headache, especially with the NIL, but some people like it more than others. Okay. Yeah. All right. We are at 40 minutes. I dropped the link. Mike didn't click it. Nobody clicked it. So I think I will wrap this stream up. I have an early morning tomorrow, and I have to eat something before it's too late. Oh, Mike, you're still here? I dropped the link. You might be busy. You might be out driving just like Antoine. So I dropped it. If you want to come up, I'll hang on for a few more minutes. If not, then I will certainly do more of these as as we go to the spring and to the summer. But so there'll be other opportunities to come up and put your 2 cents in. But I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out in the chat. Mike, do you know when the spring game is? Do you know when the spring game is? Is that at the end of March, or is that early April? Let me know if you know when the spring game is. In the meantime, I'll close these windows out. Do any of you know when the spring game is? Oh, it's April 1st. It's April 1st. The that's the Saturday after my mother's birthday. Well, let me give that some thought. Let me see how things line up, because last year I watched it from my mother's living room. I think last year was the year, or was it the year before that, when Colin Kaepernick got his little workout in after our spring game. Yeah, it was last year because Cade was still our quarterback last year. So that's when Colin came through. Okay, so Mike says it's April 1st. And Treppa Coles says Michigan spent the 6th most nationally for 2023 recruiting, but had the 18th ranked class. Okay. Well, Treppa, at the end of the day, we have to play the games. The kids got to get out there and play the games. So all these dollar amounts and rankings, well, they are significant. You need talented players to win. But at the end of the day, the kids have to go out there and play. The coaches have to coach them up. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to wrap this stream up. And I'm going to try to enjoy the rest of the night that I have left here. So thank you to those of you who came through. Thank you to those of you who popped in and out and hit that like button. Those likes are free and they help with the engagement. If you're new to the channel, please definitely consider subscribing. If you're watching on the playback, please like this stream and feel free to share it in your social media network. If you're on social media. Buckeye Alex says social media is trash. And I actually had to shut my Twitter off yesterday on my phone so I wouldn't keep watching it. I'm a little bit addicted to Twitter, even though for some reason I'm bleeding Twitter followers. I don't understand why that's happening, but I saw some things on Twitter and I just had to shut it off and shut it down So I wasn't. Sometimes you don't need to see what everyone else is thinking, and there's a lot going on Twitter. Michael says, and play together well. Yep, yep. You need them to play together. Antoine says, Michigan has a different recruiting strategy. Instead of paying players and you don't know nothing about and can dip on you at a moment's notice, we paid players to stay and by performance. Do you guys know why Iyabi Oki left? Did he not make the grades or was it something else? Because he was certainly getting in there. He was certainly being allowed to show what he could do, and he was performing for us. You guys know why Iyabi Oki left? In the meantime, Antoine says, and I agree with that strategy. I think you're talking about how Michigan approaches recruiting, not shutting off Twitter. By the way, guys, if you're on Twitter, for some reason I am bleeding subscribers. I don't know what's going on, but Elon is ripping my subscribers away one by one. If you're on Twitter, please consider following me at bigwordsarepowerful.com. No, it's not .com. It's just at bigwordsarepowerful. That's my Twitter handle, at bigwordsarepowerful. I retweet a lot of Michigan football stuff there. I do try to keep a low profile. I don't retweet and get a lot of involved. I don't get involved in a lot of the political stuff. But if you're on Twitter, please consider following me and help my subscribership go back up. Okay. Antoine says Iyabi Oki was a graduate student. He was a true weirdo. Wow. I wouldn't worry about him. Okay. I thought after the Iowa game, he was going to be one of our ride or dies. But, well, he's a true weirdo. So don't worry about him. Michael Burden says he wanted to play with his high school coach. Okay. There you go. Treppa Cole says Yorkie is nomadic. Antoine says, I think McGregor was playing better than him anyway. I think you're talking about Braden McGregor. Okay. Everyone, if you haven't, please consider signing up for the Big Words LLC newsletter. In addition to being a YouTube content creator, I do fancy myself a writer. And I'm working on a sports related book. I'm not going to get into that now. Actually, no, I won't get into that now. It's late. It's after 8. There's a 2-paragraph greeting. Just click that subscription button and that screen will come up and you just enter in your email address and then you're part of the gang. I'm always looking for new names. I'm always looking to expand the group. I promise I will not give your information away to another party. That information is below in the description box below all of the articles. If there's something wrong with that link, my email address for my newsletter is under that link. So you can email me and say, hey, add me to the list. All right, everyone, I'm going to wrap this up. Once again, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to donate something to the channel, that information is below in the description box. And you can also leave a super thanks if you see fit. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. Also, if you're watching this on the playback, please leave a comment underneath. That helps as well. And I think that will do it. So everyone have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Go blue. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude, and always try to do your best. That means you and the coaching staff too, Jimbo. No more Philly specials. No more Philly specials. And let JJ run it in the next time if you're down at the goal line. I think Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes put on a nice clinic during the Super Bowl in terms of running the quarterback sneak. So run that quarterback sneak and don't hand off to your third string running back at the goal line. So, all right, everyone, I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.